What a game of football that was, wasn't it, people? Whew, just off the back of it there now, and just say I'd jump on and make a quick little video on it. Yeah, that was Spurs won, Liverpool won. That was not what anyone I think was actually predicting. Certainly not me, anyways. Um, yeah, that was a really not entertaining, really hard pounding stuff, I suppose, in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. But we come away from Anfield with a draw, a huge, huge point for Tudor and his Spurs side. Is that the start of things to come? Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, we'll run through the game. I thought first off, players that I'm going to speak on. I thought Danso and Richarlison outstanding in terms of their work rate. Danso defensively, I thought was savage. I thought he was really, really strong in the air, well timed tackles, controlled the defensive line. I thought he was really, really positive for us. And then Richie as well. Richie, he had a couple of. He probably should have scored more goals, to be honest. But I think that's the tale of Richarlison. First half, probably not great in terms of his finishing. He really should have scored a couple of those headers that he missed. But when it came and when it mattered, he was there and he managed to get us the point. If ever there was going to be a fella to score against Liverpool at Anfield, it was going to be Richarlison. So delighted for him, delighted for Dan. So delighted that we got the 3 points, or just not the 3 points. I wish, my God, I wish I'd be off my head if we got the 3 points. But that we came away from Anfield with a point. I suppose looking at things from start to finish, one thing that I will again, I go back to the setup, the lineup. Tudor, for me, he got it. Obviously, now he got it right in terms of his personnel coming on and off, but starting the game atrocious. Again, we were run ragged in the midfield, like I said we would. Sarr and Gray were really, really poor for the whole first half. I felt that Sarr kind of grew into the game a little bit more in the second half. He did seem a little bit better in terms of on the ball. He was a bit more composed. He was probably doing a bit too much complicated stuff for me. A bit kind of teetering on the edge that if he was intercepted, we would have been we probably would have conceded. But Liverpool just didn't have their shooting boots on today, and I think that looking at the game overall and looking at the scoreline, if you were to look at that, you'd think that it was an even enough game overall. But Liverpool should have won the game. They should have beaten us by 4-5-1, in my opinion, with the chances that they had. Um, as well, sorry, jumping back, lineup. Don't know why we play Sousa at right wing when he's a left back. Just add that to the list of tactical genius that is Igor Tudor. Apparently, we thought that he had stopped with Paro at right centre half, but oh no, he puts in Sousa at right mid, and Sousa ultimately didn't do horrific by any stretch of the imagination, but he didn't do anything great either. He gave away the foul in the first half of the free kick, which with Liverpool, if you give a free kick anywhere within 30 yards of the goal, it's dangerous territory when you have Szoboszlai on the ball. For me, it was a really soft free kick to give away, but kind of it was a free kick, but it's one of those that you put in the really soft ones category. But Szoboszlai stepped up, slotted it home, easy out as you can. With that, Vicario should have done better. It was more or less kind of centralised, but kind of to the right of Vicario. He should have saved it. For me, he should have been more covered on his line, so he was at fault for that. I suppose then overall in the first half, Liverpool created more chances, but they never got out of second gear. Liverpool played rubbish today, and but we were even worse than rubbish. So it's a miracle how we came away from the first half only 1-0 down. Roll on second half, then Liverpool again seemed to be mainly a neutral for the first 10, 15 minutes. Spurs seemed to be a bit more comfortable. It looked like, at least, it looked like they were creating a bit more chances. Richie again was central to all those chances being created. I thought Matisse Tell as well. For me, I thought Tell did an okay job. Yes, in the first half he had a couple of shocking moments, as did many other players, but I don't believe he should be a scapegoat in terms of Spurs play overall. There was one incident, all right, in the first half where Tell made a run in more kind of centralised, and then Spence was bombing it down the left hand wing, and he would have been free if Tell had looked up and played him in. Instead, he took that extra couple of touches and then played a long ball or a lob ball over the back line to Spence. But sure, it was useless because Van Dijk came in and intercepted it. So those kind of things again in Tell's game, they need to be refined. They need to get better, and he needs to be more aware of the overlapping runs of players around him. But I felt overall he did okay. He didn't do great, but he did okay. Um, I suppose a couple of positives that we brought on a couple of academy products, with Alessi and what was it Rothwell, I think. And Alessi seems to be doing really well with the 21s. He's captain of them, and he seemed fine. Seemed comfortable enough on the ball. In fairness to the lad, didn't put a pass wrong, so was happy enough to see an academy product come through the ranks. I suppose so. That's one positive in a bleak time that Spurs have this season. As I said before, I thought Sarr grew into the game a little bit more so as the second half went on. Liverpool brought on their heavy hitters with Salah and with Ekitike coming on. They probably should have scored a couple of those chances, especially Salah. Vicario just seemed to be wanting to pass the ball constantly to Salah to give him more chances to score. He was atrocious in terms of his short range distribution. In my opinion, I felt like it was really off. He was trying to do too much. He could have for me, that save that he made or keeping the ball in, that should have been a corner for me because it went out. He then played the ball then across, invited pressure. I can't remember who it was that one of the Liverpool attackers was charging him down, and he kind of dummied it, kind of Cruyff turn esque it, and managed to just play it out. But then invited more pressure. Another misplaced pass to Dragusin, who was struggling, I think, in the game. Overall, I think he put in an okay shift, but still not at the races. We, on the other hand, we brought on the likes of Moani, we brought on Simmons as well. Simmons, I think, actually grew into the game a little bit more. Still wasteful, still trying to be too, almost too technical isk, kind of like trying to be too flary, too snappy with the passes that they don't come off. So he needs to get those right. He needs to sharpen those, or he needs to tone them back and do the basics right, and then introduce them into his game. He had one shot on target. That was about as much action as what he did. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Then it led then to Richarlison scoring. Colomwani obviously, sorry, got brought on as well. He played the ball into Richarlison, which Richarlison scored. And yeah, it was pretty much that's pretty much the synopsis of the game as a whole. Spurs and Liverpool. I think Liverpool will be more disheartened that they didn't, see it out. They should be with the attacking power that they had. They really should have seen the game out. They should have battered us really off the park. Um, but from a Spurs point of view, it's a great, great, great result that we didn't lose. We put in a decent enough performance. I think a very respectable performance, to be honest. If we weren't in relegation zone and if we were even mid-table, I would say people would be saying that that was a very good performance from Spurs in terms of that they were resolute, they were compact, they defended well when they needed to, they attacked, they created chances. That performance is what Spurs fans and we've all been wanting to see more of. The players looked like some of them, Richie looked like he was carrying the weight of Spurs on his shoulders, and he did. He was amazing for me today. He really, really deserves all the plaudits. Himself and Kevin Danso, they were. If without them in today's game, we would have been whitewashed. There's no two ways about it. We wouldn't have won the game without those two players at all. But yeah, so that's my reaction. It leads us on now to the huge, huge 6 pointer against Forest next weekend. We're only a point ahead of them. Leeds are only 2 points ahead of us. It's going to be really, really interesting next weekend. Next weekend's fixtures. We're going to be glued to the screens. Be prepared for lots of content to come forward for that. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Do you think Spurs deserved to get the point? Should Liverpool have conceded or not conceded, scored all more of their chances? And who do you think are the happier fan base, Liverpool or Spurs fans at the end of the day? And as well, does that keep Igor Tudor in the job for Wednesday's game against Atletico Madrid? I think it does. I think it buys him time until after the Forest game. And with that, I will bid you adieu. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button, hit subscribe. We're growing. We're nearly there to that 10 sub count. So please keep showing the channel your unwavering love and support. And it's so amazing. So thank you so much for doing all of it. And yeah, I will see in the coming weeks or in the coming days for ahead of a huge Champions League game for us. Let's see if we can go one better and try and beat Atletico Madrid on Wednesday. Come on, you Spurs.